Financial Freedom. I'm Mia Martin, and I'm especially excited today to welcome our guest, Dr. Danette O'Neill. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mia. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Anything for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anything for you. Thank you for making time to share your expertise with us today. So before we get started, I've known Dr. O'Neill for many years now. We are both involved with the Women's Entrepreneurial Opportunity Project. We're going to get into some details around the different things that we work on as entrepreneurs and how we multitask to really cater to our clients and our audiences. But before we dive into that, Dr. O'Neill, tell us about you.
Well, I have actually 3 parallel careers. Okay, there's Danette O'Neill Realtors. We service the Gulf South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia. 31 years, listing, selling, marketing, properties, working with a lot of investors. We do a lot of commercial tax credit projects. Okay, that's one. All right. The parallel is that my PhD is in public policy and administration. All right. And so I've been doing financial literacy, counseling, teaching all of my adult life, which the population that I work with in for real estate led me to have to be good in that area because we would work with clients that nobody else would work with. And so out of that came the love for community economic development and urban planning. And so that's where my PhD lent itself. Of course, you become good at writing during that time. And so the books came out of that, Danette O'Neill Publishing, another stream of income.
Yes.
Okay. And I spend most of the time now between Danette O'Neill Publishing, teaching financial literacy. I do business coaching. I teach business planning. I develop curriculums for higher ed all over the United States. I developed the first ever esports program. That's going to be big. That is coming, yes, for college credit. And I centered it around a degree program in global management and applied leadership. You're going to be hearing more about that. And so those things are parallel. That's why I'm here. That's why we work together, you know.
Yes. And one thing that I am most excited about when it relates to Dr. O'Neill is that as she continues to always develop, seek new knowledge, and connect all these business ventures together, you're taking your knowledge and your expertise and you're educating the community. And one thing that you brought up is the fact that you were working with clients in some situations that maybe were rejected elsewhere.
Right.
And so by educating your clients and giving them the resources they need to succeed, that's how you were able to take them to the next level. So could you just talk to the audience a little bit about how you go about really helping the community and your clients?
Right. Well, the running joke in the office is that I can sell somebody a doghouse. Or
I believe that.
And we actually work with people who could not get credit for a bicycle, and we turn them into homeowners. And I think that home ownership is the single greatest, fastest way to create wealth and to leave a legacy for your families. And so the clients that we got, that we've traditionally had, these are clients that didn't know how to save money. They weren't buying a house because they thought that they didn't have enough money to buy a house. So we had to become experts at learning about government programs. And then I got active with the National Association of Realtors, where I was actually at the table, working in government affairs, working with the legislature, both the state and federal legislators, to create these programs. We, just the other day, we had a big meeting on flood insurance and homeowners insurance and how that is impacting home ownership. And so the key was, once I got to the table, I was able to let them know what the people and what we work in the trenches. We work in the communities. We know what the people need. And so I am now in a position to help people that way, legislatively. And so out of that came the books.
I love the books, too.
Came the books.
I love the books.
And so I say, people are hard-headed. I teach all the time, and they don't do what I say.
They're not listening, right?
They like what I say, and they congratulate me, and they hug me, and stuff like that. But at the end of the presentation, or the teaching, or the workshop, they let life get in the way.
Yes.
Oh, I had this project at work. I'm gonna get to it. I didn't have time. Or we were talking about that last night. Or the kid, she's got to have her tonsils out, and soon as she recuperates, or we're gonna add this additional house. And I told my husband, as soon as we do this, we're gonna get it.
We're
I
all
said,
guilty, right? We're
right.
all guilty.
I say, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna get to the children. I'm gonna focus on the kids first. And so, and actually the first book came out of one of my master's thesis. I have 2 masters and then I went on to the PhD. So the first book, Money Matters 101, it starts with the basics. It teaches kids how money works, rent versus buy, want versus needs, how to read the stock market pages. That's really important. What is, how to ask for money, how to develop business ideas. And it uses real life stories of how they can build wealth at their age level because they needed foundation. What separates the Money Matters 101 series from a Susie Orman or a Dave Ramsey's, who are very good, is that, in my opinion, they cater to people who have money and how to get more. I'm working from the bottom. I'm working for people who did not know how they can free up $25 a week or a month even, and how they can save. And we show them how. And it's been tested. We use, this book is now on the bestseller list with Amazon. We've used it in the churches. We've had pastors to suspend their Sunday schools for a month, or they are, for the summer, we've used it in vacation Bible schools. The Jack and Jill clubs are using it. The Houston Independent School District is using it. Junior Achievement is using it. And I'm like, whoa.
It's working.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when we first tested it, we tested it in Long Beach, California. And so in Long Beach, it's Hispanic kids. I'm like, duh. So
Yes,
we translated
multilingual,
it
yes.
in Spanish.
Yes.
And so that opened a whole nother market. Our communities are diverse now. The markets that I work in
Yes.
is diverse. And if we're going to change the world, it has to start with our kids.
That's right.
And so what I like about it, it uses real life stories that they can connect with. And that was just the first 2. I'm taking a breath.
That's okay. That's
You know?
okay. That's all right.
You know, and so I was still being called. You know, I was still being called. And I was still teaching adults about build your business. I was teaching in the SBA programs, the 8A programs. And I said, I wonder if I can take this to the next level and teach the kids now how to develop their own businesses. They're doing it anyway. They're selling their lemonade stands. They're making slime
Yes,
at home
yes.
and scrubs.
Yes.
You know, and they're
Lip gloss.
Yes.
Yes.
And I says, okay, we can do this. And so that came Kidpreneur 101.
I love Kidpreneur 101.
It's
awesome.
This is my
I like
favorite
it as
too.
an adult.
Yeah. Actually, I've had adults to buy this book.
It's very effective, yes.
So Kidpreneur 101 is a build your business guide for ages 8 to 18. Okay. And so whereas Money Matters taught how money works, rent versus buy, wants versus need, about the dollar bill, history, Kidpreneur takes it to the next level. Now it shows them how to go back to the stock market to find angel investors. It teaches them how to write a business plan, and their business plan templates that's in here. So all they have to do is fill in the blank. The same thing I do in the adult class. It teaches them corporate structures. Do you need a partnership? Some of the kids were in partnerships, like who had a food truck. She was in partnership with her parents.
Wow.
Okay, but it's still a partnership, even though it was your parent.
Right.
And corporate structures, income tax, how to do their LLCs,
Business credit.
business credit, and we've
Yeah.
tested it. We've tested this around the country. It works. Kids get it.
Yes.
They get it, and they are very persistent. You know, can I have this? You said I could have it. Yeah, no, you said I can have that.
Right.
You promised me. They are they just nag. I call it tenacity.
Yes,
The
they're
parents may call it
resilient, yes.
nagging. So if I can get to the kids, we can change the world.
Yes.
In the church, we call it kingdom building.
That's right.
You know?
And there are a lot of kids that really want to learn more about entrepreneurship. And I think that being entrepreneurs, we understand that a lot of times it's really glorified as being this type of situation where maybe you can work whenever you want or work from the beach, but a lot of times, oftentimes you are working more than a 9 to 5. But with the entrepreneurial side, that structure of the business and the infrastructure of the operations of that business, making sure that you have the right licenses in place, the right permits, the right type of insurance,
Right.
that you have coaches and consultants, that
Right.
you have all the supportive staff that you need
Right.
to run your business appropriately. And I think the earlier you can teach
Right.
this, and the easier it is to understand. And that's what
Right.
I love about Kidpreneur. And I feel like I said before, even adults can use it, that if you start early, the earlier the better,
Right.
right?
Right. Listen to these stats.
Okay.
The average American family only has $3,000 in the bank.
Wow.
50% of American households don't have a retirement account. Of the 50% that have the retirement accounts, most of them, 70% have less than $35,000 saved per family. The average family owns a house and the net value is only $160,000, and 90% of that is mortgage. The average income is only $43,000 a year. You can't make it with that. COVID showed us that. The average credit card debt is $5,000 to $6,000. 75% of Americans working are not saving and cannot save for retirement. Okay, 117,000 is the average American debt per household. 40% of households have no savings at all. 50% now have postponed retirement because of COVID. And now look at the gas prices, how that's going to affect. Now we have a war, you know. 40% are not confident about their retirement situation. $3 trillion is the combined personal debt held by Americans, and 12% of Americans never had a bank account, don't know how to even read a bank account, open a bank account. You'd be surprised. Okay,
Yes,
those
yes.
are alarming statistics. If I can't get to the parents, I have to be able to get to the children to change a generation, you know? And so that was the original focus of this.
And I want to talk a little bit more about that, because with parents, they're working, they're maintaining a household, the children may be in activities and sports and just different things going on with life in general. And when you think about the parents being so busy, the one thing that I like about these books and the workshops that you have is that the kids can take ownership of it themselves.
right.
So maybe if mom and dad are at work and they come home from school, this is something they can read on their own and maybe just revisit on the weekend with mom and dad to see what they've learned so far. So it's really a great program based on their age group for them to do some self-education.
Right, and that's how it was designed. We have more and more kids being homeschooled now, and parents would have to take that hour a week. On Thursdays, we're gonna talk about money, we're gonna have life lessons about money. Parents have to designate that time for these life changes. Everybody in the world has pivoting. You know, one of our favorite sayings is always be pivoting. So we're constantly pivoting. We're about to pivot again because gas prices this week, a war, we don't know how that's going to affect us. Having access to our money, having the money that we do have saved, the interest rate, are we going to lose that? Is the stock market going to crash? Is it going to go down? Should I move money? And so we need to just have a frank talk, and we need to do this in the house. You know, instead of going straight to the TV when we go home, you know, and watching our favorite sitcom, and there's nothing wrong with that. I take mine, but we just need to carve out time to talk about financial things for sustainability, which is the name, the network we on, Hope TV, Hope, sustainability.
Right,
That's what I think about, sustainability. That's what our people need. God told Moses, use what you have in your hand. Each one of us was given something that we are really, really good at, that we're supposed to be using to earn a living.
Our gifts. I always talk about that. I feel
right.
that everyone has been blessed with a gift, and you're doing the world a disservice if you're not sharing it. And so with
That's
you
right.
being blessed to be a successful entrepreneur, but taking your blessings and educating others so that they can advance in life and uplifting the community, that's really key.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about getting the kids ready with the foundation, money matters, getting them ready to start a business. But let's talk about that next stage, maybe for the young adult,
Right.
and really what's in it for them, and some of the things that they can learn from
Right.
Money Matters.
So what I did was I designed a pocketbook, and I call it pocket because sometimes it can fit right in my jacket pocket or it fit in my purse. If I'm at the railroad tracks and I'm stuck, if I'm in a doctor's office and I'm waiting on an appointment, this is a pocketbook, and it takes you through about 30 different things that you need to be thinking about. Emergency funds. How much do we put in an emergency fund? Do you have a will, a spending plan? There's even something in here that say no to your impulses, and for you to list your impulses, but it's all right here. And sometimes, even though I look at these things, it stops me from going into TJ Maxx. Why are you going into TJ Maxx? You got everything.
When you can learn, right?
Right. It takes them back through the stock market pages and pictures. What to write in the will, what to include. We need SMART goals worksheets and stuff. And it's a fill in the blank book. It's small, and it's for the adults. And it's Money Matters 101, a smart money guide for 18 and beyond. It's a cute little book. I put this on Lulu. They can download it as a PDF, and this little book is about $7.
Wow.
I mean, it's a small investment, and it's packed with a lot, just paying off consumer debt and how consumer debt affects your credit.
Oh,
It's very
yes.
different. So something that I posted on my social media this week, and I saw it highlighted on the morning news. You know how you can break the payments up when you pay?
Yes.
But that affects your credit score now.
It does,
Yeah.
yes.
And so you're not getting any brownie points by buy now, pay later, or we can split this up into 4 payments, because the entire debt, the creditors have 2 things they can do. They can put the entire debt on your credit right then and there. That's going to drop your score. Or you have to look at them breaking it up over time, how it's going to impact your score. There's a lot of things that go into the FICO score. And so those are traps that the lender, you go in, hey, if you open an account today, we can give you 15% off. Well, that sounds good. I did that with Old Navy. But I paid that card off the next month.
Yes,
okay?
no, that's smart.
And they're still trying to give me money to come back. Now, it's good. If I need it, if they have a promotion, I can use it. But here's my rule of thumb. I never charge anything that I cannot pay off the next month.
That's right, absolutely. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So, Dr. O'Neill, we want to hear more from you. We're going to be back very shortly with more great information from Dr. O'Neill.
Thank you.
You all know him, my boy, Will Smith.
His tone is a very conversational tone, and he has the ability to be a storyteller because he is a actor. And so this book was more of a page turner.
I really enjoyed hearing and listening to him narrate the book. Also, I think it was a really great book because he was just so open and honest. And I mean, I don't think he really left anything out. I mean, he talked about everything in the book.
And I just want to throw this out there, that this is basically one of my favorite memoirs. And you know how I feel about the other book that I have read.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantore here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Now let's cook.
and welcome back to Financial Freedom. I'm Mia D. Martin, and I am excited to continue our conversation with Dr. Danette O'Neill.
Thank you, Mia.
You're welcome. So when we were talking, you were sharing some great insight about Money Matters 101 for the young adults, the young professionals, the young entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I'd just like for you to share a little bit more about Money Matters 101. I know that you're calling it the pocketbook, right?
Right.
So it can fit into literally your jacket pocket or your bag, but there's so many different segments in here that talk about expenses, expense management, controlling impulsive spending, right? So no Starbucks, yes, or
I gotta
coffee,
have it.
yes. So
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about
It's like
why
you-
this book is important.
Right. It's like me when I go to the dollar store. I'm assuming, well, it's now $1.25. Okay?
Yes, yes.
But still, that's like my Dillard's, okay? And so I have this thing when I go in, I'm buying stuff just because it's cheap and it might be good, but I really don't need it. And I
Right.
come home with a stack. And so that's what impulse is. So the key is the Money Matters 101 series is geared to starting from the bottom, assuming you have nothing. But it also caters to the people who have and want to do better, always be pivoting, okay? And again, it's different from something that you may get from a Susie Orman or a Dave Ramsey, who present some really good material and have some really good books, but their books are geared to people who already have money, my opinion, okay? Already have money. This is assuming we are starting from scratch, that we don't know how to save, that nobody ever taught us how to save, or I'm saving, how do I get more, you know? And so like a lot of people, emergency funds, for instance. Okay, I tell people to do the emergency funds, take 3 months first of what it costs to run your household. So if you add your house note, your car note, all your insurances, what it takes for food, put a little allowance in there for clothing or something, impulse buying, and let's say that number comes up to be $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month, you know you need that to run your household. That's everything to pay. So your emergency fund, you should start off and have 3 months of that saved. 3 months, okay? So that if you get laid off, if somebody gets sick, if there's a death in the family or disability, because we're more likely to become disabled than die. Statistics show that. So you have 3 months. Then you go out and you go buy you the clutch, the Coach clutch, the crossbody, okay?
Your fancy bag or
Right.
whatever favorite outfit you
Whatever
want.
you want, you go out and you do that. Okay, your next milestone, after you make the 3 months, go to the 10 months. Have 10 months of what you need to run your household saved. That's very important. Then let's start working on getting the credit card debt down because you have cash. The one thing that I learned, I evacuated from Hurricane Katrina to Atlanta. And cash was king. We needed cash desperately. The bank shut down. The money cards didn't work automatically. And that may happen again. That's what the people from Ukraine are experiencing right now, all right? And so we needed cash badly to do things. So that's why I said I'm recommending get that 10 months down, and then let's start paying down the credit card debt and some other debt that you may have,
Yes.
all right? Now, that may change if the credit card debt is already bad. Then we may go to a different scenario. We may go to having 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
And working on debt consolidation.
Right, and working
reduction.
on, and getting it down, calling creditors to say, hey, you know, I know the bill is $2,000 that I owe you. Would you be willing to accept $1,200? And I can pay it off today. All right, and there are credit counselors that can talk you through that, but those are some of the tactics that we're teaching here. How to reduce those cable bills. I mean, how much are we spending on cable and all the subscriptions that we have a month?
Right,
or
they add up.
the gym membership that we didn't go back to.
Right.
You know, and now just about every place that we go have some type of subscription service. Kroger the other day has one. For $59 a year, I can get my groceries delivered to me. It was tempting because they're willing to give me some money off the gas per gallon. I said, But I like to feel my groceries. I like to look. I like to look at labels and feel the produce. So I passed up on it. But the offer to reduce my price per gallon was very tempting.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very
Yes.
tempting. But I'm
Yes.
a country girl. I want to feel my groceries. You know what I'm saying?
But knowing that that alternative was there was also key too, because
Right.
being a busy entrepreneur, there could be a time where you turn that on, depending on how busy life can really
Right,
get, right?
right. And some
Yeah.
people like groceries delivered, and that's for you. You weigh it out, just like a credit card with an introductory offer. But you need to read the fine print because it's going up to 29% the next year.
Right.
Okay, and so those are the things that cause trap. This is what Money Matters 101, 18 and beyond does. You know, it's a smart money guide, and that's just what it is. It's a pocketbook. It's a smart money guide. Now, we talked on the break and even
Yes.
before about branding and SEO.
Yes, every entrepreneur has to have a brand established. They have to have their SEO or search engine optimization
Right.
together so people can find you
Right.
online, right? So let's talk a little bit about branding and SEO and why it connects with setting a budget, keeping your finances in order, entrepreneurship. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, when we talk about that, we're talking about the brand. I had to get people, I had to bring brand awareness
Right.
to the general public, actually to the whole nation, because these books are nationwide. Okay, so your thing is marketing. You teach people about social media, you teach them about marketing, you teach about what type of content to publish. And so the next step is getting your name to pop up. Just like when we're on social media and we see something, like if I'm looking at overstock.com and I typed in kitchen rugs, all of a sudden on my Facebook
Your retargeting
feed,
ads are
Yeah.
kicking in, right?
it's
yeah.
right. It
So those
pops up.
cookies are being tracked.
The cookies. So people wonder how those cookies, in almost every website that you go to, you're going to see something that asks you about cookies. And so the cookies are gathering that information, and then they're putting information in other areas to give you brand awareness. All right. So branding and SEO. I was teaching at SBA, and I was making all of these copies, and I'm like, you know what? This is too much trouble. It's too much paper. It was too hard to communicate, and I started putting it in a book. We need to teach entrepreneurs what is Facebook, what is LinkedIn, what is Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, how to use
TikTok.
it. TikTok, right.
I like the TikTok.
Right.
Yeah.
How to use it. What times are the best times to use it? What is optimal for your type of business?
Where's your audience at?
Where is your
right?
audience?
'Cause you
Right,
don't
and
need to
that's what
be
you
on all
teach.
of them, right?
That's right. That's right. And so it came to me when somebody came to me and they says, Danette, are you aware there are 88 pages that come up on Google with your name on it? I said, 88 pages? Really? So that was by accident, okay? But then I learned how to be more intentional with hashtags. And so my
Yes.
name pop up. So this book teaches people how to use social media, okay? Blog Talk Radio, internet radio. It teaches them how to use it. And frankly, it needs to be updated right now because it does not include TikTok. And there are ways that the baby boomers are now more popular on Facebook. We
Yes.
have baby boomers and millennials that love Instagram. But now the younger group, my granddaughter had to show me how to use TikTok, and I still don't have it right, okay? But you have to find out how people, instead of me always pushing a product, I want people to be able to find me and say, hey, I saw your book. I want to know more about it.
Right.
You know?
And controlling your narrative too
Right.
when they do find you. And I think the branding component of that book really lends to people recognizing the importance of, if there are 88 pages behind your name, what pops up when they find it.
Right.
Right? So really being cognizant of what's being placed online.
Right.
Hey everyone, welcome back. This is another episode of Decoding Wealth. I am your host, Daniel Duhart. Today's topic I think is very fitting or appropriate due to the time of year. We're going to talk about some advice during tax season, some different tax strategies. My guest for today is a very familiar face for those of you that follow the show. He was on with us for last season talking about some tax strategies, and so I wanted to bring him back to just further that conversation. So, DeMario, man, thank you for joining the show. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
Appreciate the invitation. Definitely want to give out some good advice today and help those folks who are trying to file their taxes or plan in the future, right?
Yeah. So again, this is a very appropriate time for it, man. I think that it's always good to get some helpful tips around tax strategies and things like that. Before we go into that, for those that may be unfamiliar with you, man, I want to give you a moment just to tell a little bit, not only about yourself, but really about your firm and the services that you all offer.
Yeah, definitely. So I am a CPA and we're a Black-owned firm here in Georgia, but we do operate out of all 50 states, especially virtually now during the pandemic. And I'm originally from Michigan, so a big base of my clients are there and in Georgia as well, since we're located here now. And we really try to focus on a few main areas when we service clients. One would be tax services for personal and business taxes, and we focus on strategy rather than just compliance in that regard, because we want to make sure we're saving our clients money when it comes to taxes or giving them advice and strategies to implement. We also work with small business owners in our business service area, where we help from business formation to implementing bookkeeping and payroll, as well as offering some consulting and audit and review work. And then we also initially took on another piece with financial services as an insurance brokerage. So we are helping clients now with their insurance needs, and we want to just make sure that our clients reach financial success in all three areas. So we don't want to be just focused on taxes. We want to be a one-stop shop for all those services.
Awesome, man. So it sounds like it's a lot that you all bring to the table, a lot that you can do for a client, but I'm pretty sure that for the clients that you all have, man, they see that as a huge benefit that you can offer them all of those services. Today, man, it's a lot that we have to talk about. And so instead of asking some questions, it'll be more so topics or points. And I just kind of wanted you to either elaborate on it or maybe explain the difference between the two. So one of the things that I think a lot of people have questions about, first off, is, tax professionals versus self-prepare software. So really, what's the difference between the two?
So when you talk about a tax prep software versus a professional preparing, now professionals will use a tax prep software, but they have a lot of self-prep softwares like your TurboTax or maybe H&R Block, or they have a free service to file online with the IRS. But the biggest difference, I would say, is you're not going to get much advice from the self-prep software. So if there's a more complicated tax return, it's not going to be beneficial if you just put that information. They're not going to give you some of those tips and hints, or if you're having challenges, you got to deal with maybe a customer